Yeah, I think we're good. We're here.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Welcome to welcome to another live stream. Um, one second. Sorry, I have repeat audio here. Hi Richard. Hi Mohammed. How are
Um,
you?
well, lots of people already jumping into the chat.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So, I think I've taken care of my
I can't
audio
hear you
issues.
now. I think you've muted yourself, Gwen.
Oh, sorry. Is that
That's
better?
all right. Yeah, I can definitely hear you now. That would have been an awkward stream if only one of us could hear us.
Yeah. All right. So, it's good to see all of you. I am here with a guest today. uh, Niall Maher. He's from Dublin, Ireland, and we are going to be going over all of the steps for setting up a software project. So, do you want to introduce yourself, Niall, and kind of talk about your expertise and all of the projects you've built?
Sure. I won't go into all the projects I built because we could be here for
Yeah.
longer than is allocated. Um, but oh, my banner's better turn off. I am a web developer, as Gwen said. I am from. Oh, is my am I okay? Sorry, things went spinning there. I'm a web developer from Dublin, Ireland, and yeah, I've been building and leading projects for a good few years now. Um, Over the last couple of years, I've been kind of running my own business called Kodu, which is Irish for coding. So I wasn't too creative there. And that is also kind of merged into a meetup called Kodu Community, which recently enough has become a YouTube channel as well. And how I actually know Gwen as well, from all of us YouTubers kind of sticking together and learning together and finding out what kind of content the people like. And that's why I'm really excited as well to be here with Gwen and hopefully offering some good advice and bad advice, um, and probably crazy advice. I have kind of built software for companies from all around the world, from Australia. I've been in Optus Australia, AT&T in America,
Mm.
Bank of America. I've worked with Vodafone Italy, UK, a few startups here locally, and a lot of the major banks here as well. So I'd say in the last 3, 4 years, I've been part of delivering about 20 different projects. So I'm definitely big into the architecture and development, and that's probably why I'm here today as well.
Architecture and development, and you said you do UX as well, a little bit.
Yeah, my original background was web design.
Mm.
So um, I found out that web developers get more money. And I was like, hey, I better go that way. And so originally I just liked, doing the designs, working a lot with WordPress and PHP and kind of sketching up designs and things. And that's kind of transitioned as well to give me a good eye for user experience then as well, which a lot of software architects don't have. They're usually
Yes.
bogged down too much into details and don't care about the user experience as much as I do, because that's where I hide my incompetence for the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see your design capabilities in your projects and what you do on your channel and stuff. So, yeah, I'm really happy to have you here. And hello to everyone in the chat. If you have any comments or suggestions as we are going along planning this project that we are about to show you, then feel free to leave them in the chat. There is usually a 10-second delay on YouTube, so sorry about that. Even though we have ultra low latency, there will be between 5 and 10 seconds. But we'll do our best to respond to everyone's comments in the chat. So maybe you can help us as we go along. Niall is not drinking today yet, right? So he should
Yeah,
be
no, not till later, I don't think. It is New
really
Year's Eve
sharp
after
and
all.
yeah, it is a holiday. So, okay,
For
so
sure.
I posted the kitty clicker, the repo link in the chat so you have access to that. And let me share my screen now.
Nice.
All right, let me add us. All right. Oops.
I just see me floating around.
Yeah, it's just you now. This was just working before. I guess I have to turn on my regular webcam instead of my better
I'll just
webcam.
hijack the stream on you.
Yeah. Well, this is good. I think that looks fine. All right.
Yeah.
So this is the project that we are going to be working on. So it's Kitty Clicker, which is an app that I will be building on a stream very, very soon, or in a video actually. And let me just show you some of the requirements. So this is on my GitHub, on Gwen F, my GitHub profile. And you can see it's about cats, obviously. I thought I'd put a cute cat picture. But I have the MVP requirements here, the initial requirements for the app, and then also the version 1 requirements to make it, I guess, a production ready version. So I left a link here of Cookie Clicker, and if you haven't played this game before, it was a really popular game. Did you play it, Niall, in the late 90s?
Yeah, I realized how many hours I just lost by doing these sort of flash games back in the past, where you just be like going crazy for hours for no reason.
Yeah. Basically, it's so this is the game. It's it's called Cookie Clicker. So you can see I can click on the cookie and I get more cookies, and I am supposed to increment the number of cookies here. So I'm just clicking on the cookies, and then when I get to 15 cookies, I can buy a cursor which this clicks every few seconds for me, so it will increment. See, now I have 6 cookies without clicking myself. And I can keep clicking, and then I can buy more cursors. They get more expensive every time, and then I can buy grannies, and I can buy farms, and I can buy things that keep generating more and more cookies. It's kind of a goofy game, but there's a whole text-based story to it. So I'm going to be building a kitty version, not a kitty version, but something inspired by Cookie Clicker, but for cats. So that's the basic background. I'm going to stop clicking now. So that's the basic background for that. And
you should do a stream of just clicking the cookie for an hour.
I should.
To see how far it goes.
I could definitely do it. I mean, I used to do this when I was younger. I was building rockets that transported cookies back to me, and then you have all different kinds of things. It gets really complicated later on. And there are lots of twists too. But this is just a simple version. This isn't, a months and months long version. So basically, you have a cat, and you're trying to keep your cat happy, but instead of cookies, you track purrs. So you have a purr counter, and that's your cat's happiness score, because cats purr when they're happy. So there's a cat image that you can click on it, and you update the number of purrs and show it on the screen for every click. There's an optional theming or color picker that we were considering for this app, and initially the data will just be stored in local storage. So the MVP version won't have a backend, but then there are a couple more features like items and implementing a happiness multiplier for version 1, and then the data will be stored in a database, which means we need an API, and we need to set up some kind of schema for this very simple database structure that we will have. So what do you think,
Nice.
Niall?
Yeah, I think the best thing we could do is probably use this as a checklist and see what we need for each stage. Because I guess the first thing I always do when I start a project is try and dig in a little bit more and see if we're forgetting anything. And I think the people in the chat might be even really useful for this as well. Is there anything we're missing? I can guess everyone in the chat. This is always great when you're on streams, is you have all these eyes to help you with it, and you'll always find stuff that you've forgotten. But yeah, I'm going to start. I'm actually jotting down here with a pen as well, just to make sure that we haven't forgot anything.
Yeah. So, I guess because I wrote this, so I feel like I got everything, but you're right that we definitely need a lot more eyes to kind of look this over and see. So the basics of this is that these are the requirements. So this would be similar to what you'd get from a client. Maybe you had an initial meeting with a client who wants you to build an application, and you start writing out the requirements from that initial meeting, or maybe you have a few meetings with different team members. And then after that, you kind of iterate and you start to plan the different aspects of your project. So like Niall said, the first thing he does is make sure that everything makes sense and he's not missing anything, that he has all of the requirements ready to take the next step.
Yeah, like these actually would go into a checklist for me for jobs to be done, and that would be nearly written into the contract as such. Is here is what I agreed to do.
Yeah.
And that's why you always find out, I suppose, a little bit later when people have to sign it. They're always like, "Oh wait, I forgot this thing." So this is very helpful. As I said, it's great to have this as a checklist here.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything obvious unless somebody in the chat has. I've frozen.
Oh, you don't. I don't think you're frozen.
I think I froze. Did I?
Oh, I can still hear you even if you freeze. So, because I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, I think we can start with that. Is there anything you can think off the top of your head, Gwen, that we've missed, or is there do you have any? I suppose as an outcome of this, what do you want to have? It's also for education. So, is there anything else you need to slip in to show off your technical prowess when you were building this for Free Code Camp as such, or?
So, like I said, I don't think I've missed anything here. The goal is just to have a workable game that people can really click on. This app will eventually be built in Vue.js in the very soon future. So that's why I didn't put as much emphasis on the back end, but I would like to be able to have some kind of API to store the data in eventually.
Nice. Yeah, I think that makes it a lot easier then, because I know it's something so small that I know there was obviously it will drive it. If it's going to be more UI based, we'll have to kind of architect it towards more UI stuff, and
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's definitely heavy
yeah.
UI.
So then we just have to break down. All I hear is we have the image that can be clicked on. So how many buttons are going to be on the screen?
So the main button is the cat that you click on. But also there will have to be some kind of button. Let's see. Go. Oh, I wanted to name the cat. Where's the
Name the cat?
create a cat image? Oh, I must have deleted it. I had a requirement to name the cat. So good thing we're looking this over. Let me edit this file.
Nice.
Users can name their cat. So there will have to be some kind of button for that form. Or just hit enter or something. Oh, did I not commit the changes?
Should be.
That's weird. All things seem to happen when I'm live. Okay.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah. Users can name their cat. Okay. Yeah, I think this is complete now, for now. So,
nice.
I guess 2 buttons, and then eventually, if we have a details page or something, but if this is kind of a agile, Kanban style development, I guess maybe some of those things might come up later.
Yeah.
I would consider them small details, because this is just a 1-page app, and then if there's any other information, it would just be text based, so it's not actual interactive features. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that makes sense. I see Sid is in the chat as well. Does each user get a different cat image, or do they have the same cat image? Are we going to be uploading cats? Or changing cats?
That's a good idea. I mean, we would need some kind of back end to be able to upload cats, but I think what a good idea would be is to have, like it says here, maybe an avatar, like a cat avatar, so they could choose from a selection of cats that we already have.
Yeah.
That way they don't upload their own kind of thing. What do you think?
I was going to say that it's nearly like choose your fighter, where you click and your different kitty can purr from there.
Yeah, maybe I should make this more clear then. All right.
So pick a kitty.
Yeah. By the way, I'm really enjoying this dark theme for GitHub.
I just realized how awful mine looks when I went over there, and I realized I'm still on the light one. I have to close the tab every so often and look away.
Yeah. Users can choose a color theme for cat and app. Okay, so the color theme is optional, and then, let me do, let's say, select from list of cat avatars. And we only need to have a couple, really.
Yeah. In the first version, it's just showing that you can, rather, even 2 images.
Yeah. So I wonder if the theme should be tied to which cat you pick. Because the cats will be different colors. So then if you have an orange background and you have an orange cat, it's not going to look good.
Nice. Yeah.
Unless we have the cat in a circle, which always has a white or black background, and then the rest of the screen can be whatever color.
Yes. So then, what will you be using then to, I suppose, to manage state? Because that will make it very easy. I suppose in Vue, what do you use to manage the state? Because I'm used to React ecosystem, and we'd use context. So what would you use to manage the state in an application like this for if you wanted to theme something?
Yeah, so you can use something very similar. I usually just use Vuex and leave my theme, which is the global state manager for Vue, kind of like Redux or any of those. I can't remember what I'm using in my current React app, but it's something similar, just a state manager. But yeah, you can use context in React instead of that state management now, and you can do the same thing in Vue with Vue 3 if you want. But I haven't done that in an actual application yet because it's new.
Ooh, good time to start.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah. Update number of pairs. So let's see. We have the avatars. Data is in local storage. Do you want to jump into the API stuff now straight away?
So the API, you mean like if we want to map out the API before we map out the user interface?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, would you rather do the interface so we know all the data is coming in? Because I think you're more visually driven. So you'll be like, oh, this is a cool feature. Now we need more data. So it probably is then better to just look at what the UI will look like.
Yeah, and I think usually with most clients anyway, because the UX developer or the UX person starts with the client interviews and gathering requirements and stuff like that with the team. And then usually we build the schema and then the API from that. Do you do a different order, or how do you usually do it?
Usually what we do in a bigger project, obviously this is probably bigger than I've done before, but we would usually have a discovery phase with the business, and we'd spend a couple of weeks, anywhere between 1 week and 6 weeks, just finding out what the business requirements are, and then we'd go So that's where you'd have this. Here are your requirements from business, and then we'd move into UX and getting some wireframes and studies done and interviewing people, which might take another 2 weeks. And yeah, we'd have some wireframes, and then from there, the developers cry and say we can't do that, and then we have to get some happy medium.
Yeah, I know how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I think we can start. What do you think about starting with the mock-ups in Balsamic then? And
Yeah, let's go for it.
you kind of using me as a puppet. Sorry,
Yeah.
Balsamic is doesn't have a dark theme, I don't think. This is
I'm just
their
gonna blind everyone. Everyone put on
yeah.
your sunglasses for a moment, and we'll be ready to rock.
All right. So it's crazy how just in like a couple years it seems like everything just changed to a dark theme. I think the
Yeah.
only thing I was using before with the dark theme was Sublime, the text editor. Oh, and the terminal. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
now it's
now it's
necessary for
everything.
devs. We're getting so massaged. We get everything we want if we give out enough, apparently.
Yeah. So if you haven't used Balsamic before, then it's basically just kind of a tool to create uh, mock-ups, not like perfect pixel perfect designs like if you used Adobe XD or Figma or something, but just kind of like rough outlines of what you're going to be building. GitHub project. Yeah, I think we should definitely add a GitHub project board. Probably after we do the designs, right, Niall?
Oh, cool. I actually haven't used GitHub projects, so this will be interesting. I've always used Jira and things, so I'm interested to see how that works then.
Yeah, it's basically, I was looking at the features. Actually, I've used it quite a few times. It's almost just like Trello, but not with, of course, not with as many features as Trello and without as many keyboard shortcuts as Trello. Of course, Trello had many
Nice.
more years to build it. GitHub's is kind of newer.
It's their product, in fairness, so if they didn't
Yeah.
have it better, you'd be worried.
Yeah. Um, but for simple projects, the GitHub one is good. And, you know, there's task automation and all kinds of stuff you can do with the cards, connecting them to your pipelines.
Oh,
So,
this is awesome. I want to really see this now. This is going to be exciting as well.
yeah, I don't know how much of that we'll get to in this, but um,
Let's find out.
okay. So you can basically, like, here's a browser, or let me make another one. And you can also start with a mobile phone. So iOS or Android, you know, they have um, both of them here. So let me get the other type of phone too, I guess.
As you're talking, I'm going to be thinking of other questions I'm going to ask you afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, so here is two different phones, and then there's a web page. So you can basically make these mock-ups however you want and start off with I usually start off with a web page and some mobile devices and then maybe a tablet and get it for all the different screen sizes. I don't know if we need to go that deep here, but where do you think where do you usually start, Niall? Do you usually start with mobile or desktop?
I always end up starting with desktop because I know I'm always told start with mobile because it's the more difficult screen, but I'm always on my laptop, so I forget that people use their mobiles all the time.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Until like I end up doing the breakpoints literally afterwards. Like I think about it in the back of my head. Like I'm like, how will this snap? And then don't worry about it. Like if you look at the thing I'm streaming through at the moment, like it's none of it's responsive. If you look at it on mobile, it's awful, and I have to go back now in the next stream and figure out how to put breakpoints in. So yeah, I'd be lying if I said I went mobile first ever.
Yeah. That's basically the same thing that I do, just because, like you, it's easier for me. So, hi Eunice, hi Deepak. It's good to see you again. Yeah, and Talpa agrees that desktop first. Desktop should come first. What software am I using? I'm using Balsamic. So they have a web-based version or a desktop app that you can get for mockups.
And I've used this in loads of major banks around the world and things. So it's not a toy either. Like this is a really good way of getting requirements together. So it is really worth playing around with this. A lot of companies use it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so what should we put on the page first?
Kitty.
Yes, I agree. So let's see. There is no cat already in Balsamic. Oh wait, there's something that looks like a cat though.
Really? That is so random.
Well, Github.
Oh
This
yeah,
this
that'll do.
circle. So if we're doing a rough mock-up, I guess we could use that. Or I wonder if you can copy paste. Like if I could just copy this cat. Uh, Copy image.
The GitHub alt will do worst case.
Oh,
Kitty
sweet!
alt.
Look, it copied. All right.
Ooh.
I kind of like this cat for some reason. It's kind of nerdy cat. All right.
I'm a few seconds behind you where I'm looking on the screen, so I'm like, we got it.
Okay, so you should see the cat now. It's not in a perfect circle or anything, but I think it'll do.
I think that's the way it will probably be, though. Realistically, it's going to be a little bit bigger if you think of even the cats at this scale. It'll help us reason about it.
Yeah. Oh, Richard and me brought up a good point. He likes doing mobile first because he says it's simpler and then you add complexity with desktop instead of stripping away
Absolutely.
complexity.
Correct. And that's why we're both saying we do it and then panic later.
Yeah.
It's definitely easier. It is easier if you just grapple the mobile designs and move out from it. But I often want to do something spectacular on desktop that won't ever be seen on mobile. And that's why I run to it.
Yeah. So you take away all that complexity from mobile. That's a good point, Richard. Okay, what do you think we should do next?
Where are we going to follow the layout of Cookie Clicker to see, like, are we going to have a grid layout, or what way are we going? Like, is there just for before we start adding in, or I suppose we can add in the features, like, and then we can move them around. We need to add the name of a kitty.
Yeah, I think we should. I'm getting cookies without doing anything now. See? Yeah, we do need the name. I don't know. I guess it will be a name and then you can click on like an edit pencil and edit it, unless you want the inline editing like Trello has, where you just click on any text. It's like content editable.
What's the most retro? I want to know what the most retro way is, because that's the way I pick. Because it's a retro game, so we have to have a few nods to the original.
That's true.
I bet you, actually, isn't it? What you would do is you'd get a full screen before you start saying, enter your username.
Yeah.
Before you'd even be allowed. You'd never be able to do it inline before, because JavaScript wasn't as fancy for state or anything.
We could do 8-bit art or something.
Yeah.
In the old. Yeah. I've been thinking about, what's that game? Earthbound? The RPG? It has you enter all your character names first. Earthbound 2. Or no, it's just Earthbound when it came to the US.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. You have to enter your character name. So is that, did you plan on having a couple of routes? So, like, or even a modal before you go in? Because then we might have to design 2 screens.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but it would probably be best to just have
that's why we're here.
Whole screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I need some text. So, like, enter cat's name.
Yeah, I guess a whole screen with choose your cat and name your cat would probably be easiest then to start with it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So like choose choose your cat. And then let me put some placeholder images here. And these represent cat avatars.
Nice.
Cat avatars.
Cat. Yeah, I think that's the best you're going to get with it. I'm trying to think. There's no better avatars.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Or should we put the cat image first or the cat name? Maybe that's just me being pedantic.
We can let the chat vote on that.
Okay.
Because I also, I'm just like, what should you do?
Let's see. Welcome to Kitty Clicker. Let me make this text bigger. Oh, smaller. Okay. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. Let me rename this mockup to welcome screen.
Do you think you should put the label for the input beside the input on desktop, just so it doesn't have this super wide input for what's probably a short name?
Yeah, we could do that. And Tapa said to align it to the right. Yeah, and that looks better. But we could do like this. Enter cat's name. What do you think about that?
Hold on 1 second. Look, the change hasn't come through for me yet. Oh, yeah, that's at least that's better, because I think, yeah, it will be text on text. It will look weird otherwise. So, yeah, that's good.
Okay. Yeah, and then this will all be, try to align this as much as possible in a box. And yeah, that's a pretty simple screen to start with. And then this will be, let's call this the, I guess just desktop view. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm just looking at it a bit more. I think throwing the cat's name afterwards will look better, just because the image will break up the two texts from sitting on each other. That's my opinion. You don't have to listen. This is literally just me going, I don't know.
You're the professional at this, so.
I wouldn't say that.
All right. Is that better?
Hold on. I wish I could see your screen live as well. I'm waiting with the chat as well.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I like that. That's cooler.
Okay, good.
And then do we need a big start button?
Oh yeah, I forgot about the button. Let me get a button. What, start?
Yeah.
Okay, start button.
Start your kittens.
Yeah, I can make that a little bit bigger. And I don't know, give it some call to action color. Like green or something. Whatever our colors are going to be. Okay, so you choose your image, you enter your name, you click start, and then you get to this screen, which is the desktop view. It's going to show your cat, and then also your cat's name.
Yeah.
So I'm going to name it Fish, which is my cat's name. Let's see. Fish. My cat was a rescue, so it was already named Fish.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
I won't make any jokes.
All right. There we go. So what do you think's next?
I would say put a box around the kitty to signify that you can click it, or can you put a cursor on it to show the clickability?
That's interesting. I didn't think about that. Do they have a cursor? Let's see, pointer. Yeah, maybe one of these hand things? Or, oh, mouse pointer, too.
Yeah, just to show that you can click these things, you know?
Okay. Or that even could be like a first time user experience type thing where it kind of overlays at first.
Ooh, that'd be really nice.
Yeah, maybe that's in version 1 though. Um,
Yeah.
let's see.
I love how we jump into the shiny things straight away. We haven't even got to any logic, and we're like, yes, onboarding experience.
Yeah. Um, okay, we could do a circle or a square or something. They don't. Oh, shape. Here's a shape. And then we could wrap it maybe. How do I go back?
Yeah.
No, go back. There we go. Kind of like that. Something like that.
Yeah, well, like whenever I have notes, or if it's not clear enough, I usually just put like a number on it and just write some notes under it.
A number like a kind of a footnote type thing.
Yeah, just like say I just say like, or even A, B, C, D, or whatever, and then it'll just like in text outside of the design say what it refers to. But I think that makes sense there. I think it looks pretty obvious what you're doing.
Okay, cool. All right. There we go. Oh no, I missed it. There we go. Okay, so this is, it's a decent MVP. It's not great, but, Cookie Clicker has had 20 years to, iterate on their design. So I
I
think
don't think they have for 20 years by the looks of things.
I think actually they have. So surprisingly. So look, if they oh, I just got yeah. Anyway, if I look at other versions, oh, there's a new beta. I'm on version 1, and here's the classic version. So if you look, this is how it started out, in like 99 or whenever it started. So,
Yeah.
Just this ugly list over on the side, not great contrast, and just this cookie here. So,
I guess they would have had to because it was all Flash, wasn't it?
yeah. So, yeah, it wasn't a great design, and now I don't even know how to get back. Oh, my other cookie is already over there, so let me just close that. Okay, so I think...
So, I actually only heard recently why they got rid of Flash everywhere.
Oh, really?
Because Steve Jobs had a vendetta against Adobe. And I only realized that very recently. I was like, wow, that is a serious amount of influence to kill something that we all played with.
Yeah. And Flash wasn't perfect, but it had so many different color options. I was talking to a designer who was telling me like how Flash had these amazing gradients and all kinds of things long before CSS could do that kind of stuff on the web. So it was actually pretty amazing, the kind of stuff you could do in Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Per counter? Are we counting pers?
yes, we're counting pers. So where should we put that? Let's see. Pers. And then some kind of number.
Because I guess you'll have to, like, every time you click, there'll have to be some slight animation or something.
Yeah. And the per counter increments. So every time you click, and we should actually I guess we should put the point values in the requirements too, maybe. Although it's pretty simple, like just for one click you get 1 per. And then just like Cookie Clicker, you can get other items like cat toys, cat towers, all of that stuff. And that's a multiplier. So that's how many pers per second you're getting without even clicking.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. So you have to put a timer in there as well. Is that
Yeah.
for MVP one, or are you going straight away?
So I wanted to do that for version 1 after the MVP. So this is kind of the MVP here, I guess, building out
Okay.
the welcome and then this. So I guess I will need a router in this app.
Yes. And it looks like it will sit very nicely on mobile as well, really, because all you'd have to do is make the entry screen like a scrollable cat,
Yeah.
a carousel of sorts.
Yeah, so I guess this is pretty much desktop and mobile. So I'm just going to call this MVP view. MVP view. And then I can copy this and call the next one version 1 view. And this is where we're going to have to put in items and some other things. So should we do planning for the MVP first, or should we go ahead and finish the mock-ups for version 1 and then go over to a planning board? What do you think?
You're the boss, Gwen. You pick on this one. It depends what you think is the most valuable right now.
Okay, let's finish doing the mock-ups then. Let's go ahead and do the version 1 mock-ups.
Nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to just thinking of what crazy cat toys we can have.
Yes. And I can just look in my house because I have lots of them. Okay, so I mean, at most basic level, it would just be a list over on the side, like the list of boxes. Flash was also full of vulnerabilities. Yes. But
I love that. I was literally replying to Sid in the chat there. I said, ruining the fun as always. We don't. It's not about security. It's about what fun you're having.
yeah, which is most of the web, right?
Yeah.
About having fun, not about security. Okay, so should we just do a bunch of like boxes, kind of like a stack of cards for the different things you could buy, or we could have, I guess, squares, like a grid of squares, or we could have just rectangles.
How many upgrades do you want? Is it going to be like a list of them, or are they just going to keep on coming as we lose them?
That's a good question. So with Kitty Clicker, more and more appear as you get to different levels. I mean, with Cat.
I think we might have to define the levels. Yeah. How do you get, like, what point gets you to what level? Because I think that's actually a good requirement, because it's something that would slow you down in development. Is if you had to stop mid development and go, what levels are there? What toys are available? So it might be worth even writing it down first, and then at least it's like, oh yeah, well then we just put a boxes here.
That's a good idea. That's a good point. So I guess you would start at level 0. So let me go back to my project here and edit the README file. So I have the initial requirements, version 1. Let me just add a subheader here. Let me zoom in one. And say points and levels. So let's say
I'm on the Cookie Clicker website at the moment, or not the website, the fandom website, to see if I can see what levels they have so we can steal from them.
Oh yeah.
Or I mean borrow.
There's a lot. And you know, 15 years ago I could have told you all of them. Okay, so let's say level 0 is the starting point. And then level 1, and then level 2. Let's do a couple levels, so we don't have to do too many. Let's do level 0, 1, 2, 3. So in the start, you can, what's the first thing you would buy for cat? I guess you can purchase food.
Dead mouse. Because it's the cheapest. It's just something that's lying around.
Yeah, how about just mice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cats are carnivores, so they like live mice, right? Vicious.
That's true.
Um, okay, so you can get your cat food or mice from level 1 or from level 0. And then you get to level 1. Oh, we need to have a cost for these items too.
Yeah. That's
So,
why I went straight over to the upgrades in the fandom, cookieclickerfandom.com, because they have loads of points and goes all the way up to billions. This is an outrageous game. I did not play it this much for sure.
yeah. Yeah, and then things can get dark and scary if you build certain item or if you use certain items, then they can turn evil later on, and then they can hurt you eventually. So yeah, so we're not gonna get that deep. We're just gonna keep our cat happy. Nothing's gonna get evil. So let's see. We have a food. Let's say the cost is 15 pers. For food. And what this does is the food, every time we buy food, it adds to our multiplier, which is what is automatically generating more pers. Does that make sense, Niall?
Add to our multiplier, so it's like a percentage on top, is it?
Yeah. But that's
So
what's...
for every click, you'd get 1 point something clicks for having it, would you?
I guess maybe I shouldn't call it a multiplier, but it's basically how many pers per second we get without doing anything. So
Resting pers.
resting pers, yeah.
Okay, so we have resting. I don't know what way to describe it other than that.
Let's say 0.1 per second
Okay.
per food. And then mice will cost 50 pers, and they'll do I don't know, 0.4 per second. But the thing about Cookie Clicker is that these things get more expensive. Each time you buy one, it gets more expensive. So that's probably like version 3.
Should we just, for easiness, should we just double it? Like say mice are like 0.5 and food is 0.1, and then the costs of these things double every time you buy them?
Yeah. Let me put that here, I guess. Item cost doubles with each one purchased. Yeah. And we can always adjust the difficulty later if this is too difficult for people. Is the cat going to make sound?
Or it's a kitty clicker game. If they're giving out about how difficult it is, they have problems in gaming.
That's true. That's true. They need instant feedback.
I love the amount of empathy. Yeah, I love the empathy though. Oh, if people are difficult, we can reduce it.
Yeah, that's funny the way you put it, yeah. Oh, Richard asked is the cat going to make sounds? That is a very good idea. Cats, we should definitely have some cat sounds.
Audio has to be in there.
Yeah. Okay, so level 1. What would you buy at level 1? I guess you would buy scratching pads. Scratching pad.
Scratching pads.
There's also wand.
I'm literally trying to think. What do kittens or cats like early days? What do you get them? A ball of wool.
Yeah. And then wand toys. I think wand toys should be level 2, right?
Yeah.
Wand toys, and then maybe level 3 would be a cat tower.
Yeah.
And then, are there any other toys we should add?
Um,
Or
I'd be thinking cat box, just like for cat or cat litter, cat box, those kind of things as well. Like all the other things that go around them because they'll just be funny to see.
yeah, but not. Do you want litter boxes? Are we gonna get that technical, or just a cat box?
Yeah, litter box. Oh, and catnip has to be somewhere in here.
Oh yeah, catnip. Um, let's do catnip at level
I
2.
I literally got a text off somebody saying catnip. So
Oh, someone watching is texting you.
yeah,
That's cool. Um, let's see. So level 3 is yeah, catnip is good. Um, they also have auto feeders and
before we get distracted on all this, how about we just put like how many toys per level?
yeah. Um,
I can.
Okay.
Happened.
Okay, I think I dropped for
I
a
was fighting
second.
with my internet provider today, so I think it might be me either.
Okay. I think it was me this time, but it's working now. So I think this is pretty good. And then I'll just add the costs for everything else. So for scratching pad, um, let's see. Well, this shouldn't be 50 then, I guess. This should be, mice should be, I don't know. Let's say 25. And this would be 50. 50, and I'm just putting out random numbers here, so let's
Yeah.
say 150 and 200, and let's say 400 and 500. And then per second, 2, 4, 8, 10, and then 15 and 20. And we'll just see. We haven't really researched these game mechanics at all, but it seems okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
You'll
so
have to balance it when season 1 comes out.
yeah. All right, so let me commit.
What level do people get to here? Like, I suppose, what each level? When are they opened?
Oh, right. So they start at level 0, and then when they get to a certain number of points, they have to get to the next level. So I guess
Yeah.
level 1 could be, what do you think, like 10,000?
Yeah. I'd say let's multiply it by 10 for each one, and if it's terrible, you could just yeah, I don't know.
Okay. So level 1, let's say 10,000 pers. Level 2 would be, you'd say 100,000 pers?
Yeah.
Pers.
It's getting
So-
insane quickly, isn't it?
Oh yeah. So level 3 is already 1 million pers.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you have to buy the expansion pack for level 4.
Yes, I like that. We're gonna put this on Steam. Okay. Alright, so this is already getting better. By the way, if you just joined, let me go ahead and paste the repo in here. So you can have access to, that's what we're working off of with the requirements so far. So we have the MVP requirements, the points and levels, and a few version 1 requirements. So now that we have these points and levels, do you think we need to add anything else, or should we go back into the mock-ups and finish those?
No, I think we're ready to go now.
Okay, cool. So we have 3 levels. So I guess we should put the level somewhere. Should maybe in smaller text. Like put level, whatever level they're on, right? So this is another game mechanic that I guess is just added because you have to spend purs to get items so you can get more purs, but you have to somehow collect 10,000 purs, save up purs also to get to the next level. So you have to balance saving purs versus buying buying mice and those kind of things to get more purs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to have. It's not until you have, and you have to spend all those purs to unlock the level.
Do you have to spend all of the purs?
I would say yeah, just to be annoying.
I would say no because people are going to be sad.
What if you got like a modifier just for upgrading the level though?
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I like that. So, yeah, and when you upgrade the level, it doubles your purs per second.
Yeah, because you would. I'm just trying to think like it'll be very easy then if we could have the levels and the items all as the same buttons logically. You know,
That's a good idea.
like by clicking a level, you're unlocking something else. You know, it's something happens, but it's the same kind of mechanics that will add more things rather than having two totally different types of features.
Okay, so you think these should be like rectangular boxes stacked? Because there aren't that many of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe a lock over the levels as you unlock them.
Oh yeah, Richard says make it an EA game and make them pay for everything. I wasn't going to mention any particular game providers.
We all know it.
Okay. So let me just... Oh, rectangle. Let me get a rectangle here. And kind of just make a few boxes and then you can tell me if you think this is good. So, there we go. So here's 3. Yeah, so I guess it would start with about that, and then we'd have, what was the first? Oh, cat food.
1, 2, 3.
I can hear you.
1, 2, 3. Do we need another box?
Oh, you're
Or are
counting
you
the
just saying-
boxes.
Yeah.
I thought you were doing testing.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3.
No, I'm not doing a test on it. No, sorry. I shouldn't need to count to 3 out loud, though. In fairness. What can you buy old unlocks? Like, how does it work in Cookie Clicker for buying unlocks? What does that look like?
So, Cookie Clicker has... we keep going back to Cookie Clicker. Cookie Clicker has 2 different types of things. Oh, cool. Now I can buy a grandma. So...
Oh, yes. So they have the levels going to the right then.
Yeah.
So you can click on the levels. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can buy these items here. Buy a couple more grandmas, some cursors. Yeah. And then up top you can see that these are upgrades that I also have. So I can get a reinforced index finger. So my mouse cursors are twice as efficient now. So let me buy that. And then I'm getting a lot more clicks per second here. It says a per second value, so 4.8. So I guess we should have that too. If I do more clicks. Yeah. So now I have 5 grannies cooking. Oh, cool. This is a new feature. If I hover over each granny, it says their name and their age. So Agatha's 88. This doesn't even matter.
That's hilarious. They're such nice details, though.
Kaden is 104. Wow, and she's still baking cookies. That's awesome. Okay.
Back to work, Grandma.
Yeah. Grandma cookies are the best, though. Okay, and see, these games are addictive. You literally can't stop clicking when you're here. But anyway, so it says the number of cursors that I have over on the side. It counts up the total, like 10 and then 6 for grandmas. I mean, we don't have to make it exactly the same, but this is just like an idea for it. So.
Yeah. No, I think that makes sense. I'm just wondering, how do we upgrade the levels then as a buy button?
Yeah, I liked your idea. So here, like this one would have level 1. Cookie Clicker they don't actually do this, but I think it is a good idea. So we're going to deviate a little bit.
Nice. That way you can't get sued.
Yes. Not that we'd get sued for a free clicking game. Unless we actually do some advertising, like cat food companies or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. Okay, so cat food, mouse.
Can you put in like a joke, like like I said, when you upgrade to like level 1 or 3, you know, that somebody spent a lot of time here, don't forget to feed your real cat.
Oh yeah, we should put messages and like hidden things. We could have Easter eggs all over the place in the app, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's gray out this text. So. Oh, too gray.
You know, if somebody's sitting here for 30 minutes and forgetting to actually play with their real live cat, you know, you should probably just abuse them a little.
Yeah. Don't add too many features. This MVP you can add in version 2. Yeah, this is...
Absolutely.
I agree. This is the MVP of MVPs. And then when we add features, we're going to add the items here. I know Cookie Clicker's so complicated, so trying to boil it down is hard. But we have... You can buy your level, and then we need something like pers per second here. So...
PPS.
Yeah, PPS. And then let's say 5.5. Okay, something like that. So maybe level will be under fish then, so we don't have too much text in a row. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like that. That's more so where you'd look at your character stats as well, is under the name and things.
Yeah. Okay. So this is pretty simple. And then when you get to the next level, you get a multiplier, and this level, once you purchase level 1, it disappears. Oh, we need the cost though. How are we going to denote the cost for this? I guess we just write like 1 per or whatever.
Yeah, I guess each button will have to have like their stats on either hover or, well, actually if you're doing mobile you won't have hover, so you might have to just put the stats to the right.
Okay. All right.
You know, like what do you get for buying it? You know, 1 PPS, and then cost of 15 pers.
Yeah, then we would make these. This is a lot more complicated than I thought it was going to be.
I know you wrote. Yeah, I know I was meant to come on as help. I'm here just creating chaos now for your design.
Alright. So what if I had like, okay, so I have cat food. And let me just put these randomly. So like 15 pers, and then if I make another row below it, which will be, oh yeah, 0.5 pps, pers per second.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be accurate for now as well, because we have that all documented.
Yeah. Okay. I'll make this smaller. Yeah, so not great looking, but looks okay. And then, yeah, and it would basically be the same thing for the mice and, whatever items were there. So it would have 3 columns kind of. So the name, the info, and then how many you currently have. What do you think?
Nice. Yeah, I think that'll be good. I think that's perfect.
Okay, it's perfect.
What? Oh God. Um.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, I know. I still couldn't help but laugh anyway. The after level 1, do the items come down underneath, or are there new tabs?
I think the items should come down underneath, right? Because we only have a few
Yeah,
items.
we don't have many.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, on mobile, you could argue that we should have tabs because it might be easier to access. And the tab would default to the current level's items, maybe.
You can just have a scroll up and down though for the items as well.
Okay.
It won't be that difficult.
Okay.
There's only 6 or 8 items anyway, so it shouldn't be that crazy.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. So it looks something like this. That looks a bit better. And then, yeah, I think this is it for like a full version 1 requirements, right?
Yeah.
We have a way to level up, which was a good idea you came up with. And then we have the items you can buy. We figured out how to do the pers per second. And then, of course, you can click on it, and that will increment the pers as well. And, of course, later on, we could always write a script for clicking. If you did that in the past, write a script for clicking on your kitties. All right. I think that's it. Let me get out of here. I think that's it for the mock-ups. Do you think we're ready to move on to the next stage of project planning? Niall, are you there? All right, I'm gonna wait for Niall to get back, and let me try calling him again. He said his internet isn't working, so sorry about that, but let me post the project that we're working on real quick so you can look at our requirements file that we have been working on. And let me call Niall again. Let's see. All right. Hi, Kojuko, how are you?
I think I'm back.
Yes, you're back.
Great. Yeah, that's what I get for fighting with my provider.
Okay. I think you're breaking up a little bit, but I think you said you were fighting with your internet provider. All right. So we just finished doing the mock-ups. So what do you think about starting a project in Github? We can maybe create some tasks for this and see which tasks we want to do first. Can you hear me? Niall? All right. It looks like we're having some connectivity issues.
Yeah. I think I'll be fine now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, um, all right. So let's go ahead and create a project then in GitHub projects. So we can basically, if we create a
Nice.
project, we can start from a boilerplate, or we can just create one from scratch. So dev tasks, or yeah, I'll just call it dev tasks, and we'll include MVP and version 1 in different columns on this. And then I'm going to say template none because we can just add our own columns however you want. But they do have like Kanban or bug boards and stuff like that. So create project. And now we can add columns. So Niall, what columns do you usually have when in your Jira or
Oh,
whatever?
planning.
Okay.
What do I have? Planning, or I suppose. I'm trying to think because it changes it depending on the size of the teams, really. So it's for yourself. You've already planned them out. So I guess it's to do, doing, done, really, isn't it?
To do, yeah, sure. Doing and done.
I'd usually have like QA and all those other bits and pieces, and that's what I'm trying to think. What's the latest, like, version of that?
Okay, so QA, if we add QA after we're doing, we'll probably have some kind of review or QA after doing. I think that would be a
Yeah.
good idea if we did some like, we'll just call it QA. And so I'll drag it before done. There we go. So this is kind of hard to see on dark mode actually, but I have 4 columns here. Planning, to do, doing, QA, done. Oh, 5 columns. All right. So I
They
have all.
did the thing you're not supposed to do in dark mode, and that's you're meant to have a lighter color for things in front of other things, and they have a darker color. So they did a UI no.
Oh, okay. We should raise an issue with GitHub about that. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't notice that. It just looked weird. These project boards do look weird on dark mode. Maybe that's why. All right. So for planning, are there any tasks we should add here, or did we kind of already do some? I guess we didn't do an API or schema or any of that stuff yet.
Well, we could still keep all the planning where you have it. Just you don't I suppose, miss some of it, because it'd be very easy to translate this into your board afterwards, even if you run out of time or whatever else.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'll just leave that alone for now. So in to do, so we kind of have tasks for the MVP and then for version 1. So what do you think? How would we differentiate those, or how would you differentiate those? I guess.
Good question. I probably have 2 boards,
Okay, 2 completely separate.
because one would rely on orders, like a sprint 1 board and a sprint 2 board, because you'd assume that the tasks from sprint 1 are done before you got to the second sprint.
Okay, so for MVP, so if we were doing that, because I was thinking about tagging them or using different columns, but I think on GitHub, well, I thought you could copy the board or duplicate it, but I guess it's not.
But then if you can tag the tasks, then maybe it'll be just as easy. Like once they have their own little tag on them, so you can easily sort them.
Yeah, because I think in Jira, which is another product tool that I think the one you use and the one I use at work, I think the project managers can easily copy tasks over between boards and sprints and stuff. But this is more of an
Yeah.
elementary tool. So, what's the first to do? Do you think it should be create the welcome screen, or should we break that down even further?
Well, I always have a setup task to start.
That's a good idea. For the
So,
this would be for the
and
front end, right?
yeah,
Okay.
and then there's two tasks really. If you're not doing the back end in this version, then you won't need it. Um, but yeah, dev setup front end, because you could list in that all the things like ESLint or tests or whatever else you want to have in place. View, the routing's all there, and whatever else. I guess in Vue you have the routing. I'm used to having to go and find the libraries in React.
Yeah.
So that's one of the real big bonuses of Vue is you have stuff there and ready to go.
That's one of the things I love about it is, after so
Yeah,
many years, I'm tired of choosing all my old things every single project. It's like just clicking it or typing it and, starts the project and it's good. Um,
you're spoiled with Django and Vue.
yeah, I know. That's true. I guess, I think there's different phases you go through in your development life cycle. So it's like, where you're excited about learning, and I mean, you're always excited about learning, but you're so excited because you get to build and set up everything yourself. But at some point, you get tired of setting up everything yourself. So it's like, why don't I
Yeah,
just use tools so I can just get right to building the application? Um,
yeah. I use Next.js for MVPs because the back end and everything's there as well.
mm,
And it's very easy to logically break it back out into separate node and front ends if I need to later. And it's all serverless. I don't have to worry about pipelines and all that other bits that go with it.
oh, cool. Yeah, I've used Nuxt a little bit, which is the Vue version of Next. So, but
Yeah,
I haven't used Next. So,
yeah, same thing. I think
yeah.
they both steal from each other.
Oh, yeah. That's what good frameworks do. Um,
Exactly.
let's see. Let's convert this to an issue because then I can make a checklist here. So, um, like you said, we would have stuff like uh, ESLint and, you know, uh,
I suppose
the,
generate boilerplate Vue project. Is that just like a Vue CLI tool that you use to
yeah,
start?
generate project with Vue CLI, which is so nice. Um, and then, are there any other setup? I guess this would have,
Are you adding tests?
maybe not for this application.
Yeah, calling you out. Sorry, it's the always the way. I'm the exact same when I'm doing my own things.
Yeah, it's hard if you're not, doing a real professional project or a really large project. It's like, do I need tests for this small application? Um, but it is something I want to do a lot more of, definitely. That's one of my goals for the year. So, yeah.
Nice. What do you use for styling?
That's a good question. So, I usually use a UI component library, like Vuetify or Element or something like that, because it gives me a grid system, it gives me styled components out of the box, so it's pretty easy to use. But it might be a little bit harder if we're trying to get really custom with the styles and layout. Also, I do use Sass for any custom styles.
That doesn't. So you've just confused yourself now. You don't know what you're going to go with.
Yeah. Um, well, yeah. Huh. I don't know. What do you think?
So like
Um,
because I'm a glutton for punishment and still like picking all my tools and toys, I always go with CSS now. Recently, I've even stopped using Sass
oh, wow.
because of CSS variables being so
Oh,
freaking
okay.
awesome. They are so cool for theming and everything else. You can just like at runtime change CSS values. It's amazing. So I love that. The only reason I ask is because for something that I think keeps CSS projects on on a nice track is using something like StyleLint if you're building a larger project with CSS, because you basically get ESLint for your CSS, and it stops a lot of madness from happening.
That's interesting. Yeah, I guess I haven't used. Well, can you do loops and if statements and stuff in CSS now then? If they do variables?
No. I
Okay.
guess I've stopped using them ever since once I went to like Vue or React or any of those kind of component based, because you end up doing all that kind of looping and that stuff. I can't remember the last time I wrote a Sass function when I was using React or something, because you kind of just append it dynamically with the framework.
Yeah. I guess I've always liked keeping my styles separate in their own folders, and maybe I'm biased towards Sass because I don't like writing CSS, so Sass makes me feel like I'm writing JavaScript
Yeah.
inside CSS because I have all my variables and loops and, most of the same things. I can write functions and mix-ins and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm just a big fan of being able to change variables on the fly, because you can, like with JavaScript, change CSS values, and it's not like overriding, it's actually changing the values live. So you can alter animation speeds, and like you could have the colors gradually change over time. You could just go across the hue and everything. There's some fantastic things. It's from actually seeing, Jay, that does all the crazy stuff on Twitter. His stuff is all CSS variables. He's a wizard at getting things to look like magic.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
he converted me from Sass to CSS by just seeing how he was using it.
Okay. We'll have to do something in the future. Maybe we can figure out how to do that in Vue. Because you can put
Yeah.
CSS in the
I
same
won't put
file.
you off your tangent now, but
Yeah.
it's definitely worth looking at for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe a library for the first version is probably good if you think there's something suitable for this.
Okay. We did get a couple questions about things. I think we've been putting them off for a little while. Sorry.
Okay.
So Mauricio asked, on backend development setup, should we care about project folder structure, like domain, service, infra, and so on? Like,
Well, I know you, because you're used to Django, you get all that looked after for you.
yeah.
So that's the nice part. For me, yeah, it's a big thing as well. So I'd often Dockerize things for my infrastructure, and have Docker Compose files, Docker whatever, Docker folders. I even Dockerize my development environment. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, I do a lot of different folders for different jobs, and even use mono repos to share logic between, like, I make my own UI libraries and things for projects. I'll often use mono repos to connect them all together. So yeah, you can get really fancy with folders. I think for an app of this scale, it probably doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Um,
That's one thing I see in every different company, every different project. Everyone has their own way of organizing their folders. And yeah, and so and a lot of them aren't better or worse, but they're just different. Like some will clean up or collect messes in different areas, I guess.
yeah,
But that's kind of why I like Django giving me that, because it already gives me the basic structure and file name. So I can go into any Django project or really any Vue project and expect, like, this is where I'm going to find all of these different things. And I think it's easier for onboarding developers and just for general understanding, and it's well documented and those type of things. So
yeah, you know what you're getting. If a Django developer knows where to look,
yeah.
whereas a React developer definitely doesn't, because there's
Yeah.
so many ways of doing it.
Exactly. So John said, how is Vue's GUI for setting up new projects? It's great. Yeah, you just download the Vue CLI, you type in Vue UI, it pops up with a whole interface where you don't have to use the terminal to create projects. And
Wow.
you can also use it at any time while you're building the app. But I don't want to talk too much about that. It's in some of my other videos, and I'm sure I'll be creating more videos on that. Are you
Nice.
referring to? Okay, we already talked about the folders. All right, so we have generate project, ESLint. Probably put like a maybe an auto formatter or I guess git hooks to do auto formatting or whatever else we want to do, like checking and linting before we push.
Oh, yeah, like have you used what I often use is Husky.
Husky, yeah.
Have you ever come across that?
Yeah, Husky is good.
Yeah, that's a excellent tool for that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let me put this here. UI component library. That's undecided which one, but I'll just go ahead and convert this to an issue. And now see what GitHub does is the text changed to blue, so now I can click on it. Now it's not just a text card. I can click on it, it pops up from here, and you can see I have these checkboxes here to check off things as I do them.
This is super. I haven't seen this yet, so I'm really excited about this because I wanted to start some projects with my Discord. So I'm definitely going to use this.
And this is the easiest way to do it instead of linking to another site. You can also assign people to different issues. You can, put whatever labels you want. Projects, milestones, you can have different milestones. So here's where we'd probably have the milestone MVP and version 1. That's actually a good idea. So MVP, let's create, I'm going to create a new oh, our faces are in the way. Let me move our faces over here. Okay, so I just created a new milestone. So you can see now this issue is tagged. Our faces are still in the way. Okay. This issue is tagged as being in that milestone down here, the MVP milestone. And then if we had another one like implement items, I guess. I'm just showing this as an example. So I can click on this, I'll convert it to an issue again, put it after, and then, let me click on the implement items.
You can stack them nicely. That's handy. Yeah, so you can order them. I thought it was going to just be random and you'd have to start looking for MVP and everything else.
No, and you can also search. There's a filter here. And then here, let me add this to, let me create a new milestone. So I'll call this version 1. And now see, this one is part of the MVP milestone, and this one is the version 1 milestone. So when these tasks, and I will have to assign, for this milestone, I'm going to have to assign which column means it's done. So when all the cards for that milestone are done in the done column, then that means it will finish that milestone. So I think, I can't remember how to assign it to a milestone. Let's see. Well, I'll have to figure that out. But that's basically, what or how GitHub Issues works.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. So there's the project board. And these also, like, I converted them to issues, so they're connected to GitHub Issues. So if I click on issues now, and you can see their issues, so people can comment on them, and then now they're threads. So anyone can comment on these issues, which will be linked to the cards on the project board. And
nice.
Yeah, I think this came out like 2 years ago. GitLab had it a while before GitHub. And so GitHub has had it for many years. or GitLab has had it. So I used to use GitLab just for this feature sometimes because I loved it so much. So now it is nice that GitHub has this.
Yeah, I really like this. I'm definitely going to be using this.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. So now I see that, like you said, these are lighter, by the way. So these are lighter from the background. So maybe that's what they were doing, creating this
Yeah.
really dark color, and then the cards are lighter in front of it. So, yeah. It,
Yeah, it looks less weird with things on it, but yeah,
yeah.
just a quick note for UX and UI. Dark mode, a lot of people will just invert colors, like black will become white, and it's really not how it does it. Usually, white, it's the lightest things closest to you, and the darkest things further away, even in light mode or dark mode.
Yeah. All right. So we have some setup tasks, and then this is version 1. And then I guess we'll just add the rest of the tasks here. We've kind of spent over an hour and a half. How much time do you have, Niall? I know you have to get to
I'm okay.
celebrating.
I'm in no rush this evening. No.
Okay, good. Okay, so we have these tasks. So we can add a couple more tasks. And let me open this in a new tab. And requirements file. So you have a cat. Oh yeah, we have to do the welcome screen first. So people can
Yeah.
enter their name. Basically this screen. So we can implement this screen. And I guess we can just make a simple card for this. Let's say implement welcome screen.
So in the dev setup, will you make a separate task for setting up like a global state to share between the screens, or will you, or are you going to share it via local storage?
Did I? Oh yeah, I said with routing and state management. So because for view it's just
Okay.
it's just you select state management and it sets it up for you.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So there's nothing else to do there.
Dang, you guys have it easy.
Yeah. But there is a plugin you have to add, which takes like 60 seconds. If you want it to persist in local storage, not
Yeah.
lose it on refresh. So let me add
Yeah.
that here actually. Persist state in local storage. Okay. Let's update. Oh, it just said, it gave me a message saying now it supports videos and stuff. That's cool. All right. So we have the welcome screen, and actually here we should probably put tasks. So, because there are a few areas of the welcome page. There's the header. Oh wait. Actually, I can just click on this. There's the header, and then there's the, what's the second section? Oh yeah, the choose your cat, or the avatar selection, I guess. And then cat's name, and then the button, which you have to make functional. Okay, choose an avatar. And then the next one will be cat's name form, and then button with functionality to go to next page. I guess save information and go to next page. Okay. So now we have checklists for these two things. And then I guess the next one for MVP. Oh wait, I didn't add this to the MVP milestone. So let me add this to the MVP milestone. And I guess the next thing, we could just do the whole page, because for the MVP, high score on Cookie Clicker. No, I doubt it. I would need many more of these bigger ticket items, like farms and.
I'm just wondering if anyone else is playing it as well to see who in the chat has the best score at the end of it all.
Oh no, we got people addicted to this. And see, now I'm waiting because I know at 12,000 I can build a mine here, which gets me a lot more per second. Okay, gotta get out of this. I should close it, but I don't want to close it. Okay, so here's the
good game mechanics. You can't close it.
Yeah. So here's the MVP view. So with the cat's name, the cat, and the number of purrs, because in the MVP, all you can do to get purrs is click, and that's a workable version. So let me just add that as one card, because that's pretty basic. So MVP main page view.
Do you need a restart button to clear the data if it's all so if you already have selected your name and cat and you go to refresh, will it go back to select your cat again? Or
that is a good point. They should.
If I accidentally put the URL in and I had to, would it wipe my data if I accidentally went to the wrong URL?
No, I don't think so. Because it's all going to be.
I wouldn't think so. But I'm just wondering. I'm asking the question so you don't forget about it either.
Yeah. I guess if they go to the welcome screen and they already have data, we should just route them to the main page. Right?
Yeah.
I guess I should add that to the issue, right? For the welcome screen?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, because I think that's maybe something to say if there's already data, redirect straight away to the thing. But then you'll need a reset button, won't you?
Yeah. But okay, so we can add some kind of reset button to the main page then.
Or a start new game.
User should be redirected. And that should definitely have a confirm box so people don't accidentally lose their data. If there is already data.
That sounds like you. It sounds like you're already after doing it to yourself before, so you're like, no, there has to be a confirm.
Yeah. If there's already data, the user should be redirected to the main game page. Okay, I'll update that. And then, okay, I think that's good. And then let me go back into the main page. Hi Sulab. Hi everyone. Happy New Year, everyone in the chat. I hope you're doing well. I know part of the world is already in the New Year right now. Whatever time zone Korea is on had their New Year at 10 a.m. So we're still waiting. I'm almost at 2 p.m.
5 hours
right now.
away.
You're at almost 7
here.
p.m.? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, MVP main page view. Yeah, so we'll have our New Year in 10 hours, and I guess yours is in 5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be asleep by your New Year.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's see. MVP. Yeah, MVP main page view. So let me add this to the MVP milestone. And I don't have any labels or anything. Let me go ahead and add the tasks here. So add the checklist, and let's see. what would be the first thing? Let me look at this page. So I guess display name, display clickable, or do the clickable image, whatever.
Yeah.
And then add the per count. So there's 3 parts of that page. So display cat's name, display cat image, and make clickable, and display current per count. And then we can add...
Will we have a reset button on this page?
Yes.
Or is it...
Yes, I forgot about that already.
Yeah, that's the only other thing we have.
Reset button somewhere on page. Maybe it could be like in a bottom corner or something. Or we could have a settings.
You can put it into planning if you're not sure.
That's true. That's a good idea. Okay, so I'll leave it out of there for now. And that's a good idea. Let's add it to planning. So figure out where to put reset button. Cool. Yeah, because that's not MVP anyway. People can just do a hard refresh if they want to. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think this is definitely all for the MVP. Do you think we missed anything?
No, I can't think of anything. Let me have my list here. Name a cat, pick a kitty. Yeah, you've it covered. It's gonna be a viral game in no time.
Yeah, I think it's definitely... Kitties are definitely a good idea to make a viral game because everybody likes cats. And then there's so many different things you can do with cat toys, and we could teach cats tricks. We could do a lot of different things. Okay, so
Yeah.
we have all of these. Let me add, I think we have items, so I'm just going to leave this here for version 1 actually. And I might even drag this back to planning because it needs to be worked out a little bit more. But we have all of our MVP stuff in to-dos, so I think that's good actually. So those tasks are ready. So is there anything else, like if we're about to start a project, what else would we start planning?
Potentially high designs, but I don't think we're going to get there. There is, yeah. What else? No, I think that's pretty much it because you're going into the breakdown. Like the stories as such are in those cards. Yeah, it comes back down to just planning more for the next stages during this.
So, like iterating as we build more, we're working on the next versions and stages and... Okay. And then for the back end...
Exactly.
Because usually we would plan out the schema and the API and all of that stuff. But that's not really part of the MVP since this is like a front-end heavy application that can be run mostly from just the browser and using local storage. But I think I will add this for planning because we will need to plan the schema. Do you plan the schema first and then the API so you figure out how your data is?
Kind of. So a lot of times I use MongoDB and it's very forgiving.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing a database, like I have a checklist that I go through. I have it here actually this side. So I collect all the information first, and then I divide all of the entities into tables, turn the data points into columns, identify the primary and foreign keys, and then normalize the data. So that's all part of like the architecture process. So yeah, that's on my checklist of things I do when designing a project always.
Oh, cool. So do you have checklists? You must have checklists for each part since you really do so many of these projects and so much planning on your own. Um, do you have like all these checklists published somewhere that you use?
No, I was only thinking before this because I was like, I just took some of my checklists into notes for this stream in case we forgot anything. I should definitely just like put them out in a blog post or something because yeah, they're very handy. I have stages of things I know I'd forget with like best practices because I always forget them as well. So and tools that I think enforce best practices.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it definitely would be something I'll have to do.
Yeah, that would be awesome. If you could do that and I can share it and look at it, that would be really helpful, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's like a blog post worth in nearly every section. Like as I said, defining a schema is an art in itself,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm particularly talented at it, but I know to just like the core fundamentals are the best things. Like once you can see that you're not repeating data and that you know there's a lot of cascading things that does all the work for you. Yeah, I think you're safe enough.
Yeah. Well, this is awesome. I think we got the project pretty planned, so thank you because I needed this project. So thanks so much for your help, Niall. Is there anything
No worries.
else you think we should do, or anything else you just wanted to say before we wrap up here?
Nothing to say. Really, no, nothing at all. I just hope this project goes good. I can't wait to come in and annoy you in the chat when you're building this for free code camp or that, and say like, "Oh, you forgot a button," or "Where's my kitty?"
Oh,
There better be a bearded kitty in the avatars. That's all I want now.
oh yeah. Well, I'll have to get a real artist then because I can't do that. And mustache kitty. Yeah, we can make so many different kitties. Maybe I will hire an artist for this. All right. Yeah.
Send them over. Send me over the types of kitties you want. I can definitely have one of my artists do it up in a few hours.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that after. All right. Thank you so much for joining,
Yeah.
everybody. For everyone who participated in the chat, or even if you just watched from home. I know it's New Year's, so you're probably with your family and friends, but thanks for joining us to kind of pre-rein in the New Year's. So I hope you learned a lot from Niall and all of his project management expertise, and I hope you also had fun with the project and that you don't get addicted to Cookie Clicker after this stream because it's very tempting. So block it from your browser if you have to. Other than that, I just have to say Happy New Year to everybody, and I hope 2021 is a much better year for all of us and a great year where we can travel and see each other again soon. So, bye. Have a good night, everybody.
See you later.